I should start out this video with a confession. I cannot stop watching Vaush. I mean, he may be wrong about everything, but he's a very, interesting guy. And he's interesting in the same way that a person who plays Minecraft for the first time and doesn't know anything about the game and then tries to mine a diamond ore with a stone pickaxe is interesting. They're just so stupid that they're funny. Actually, with Vaush it's even worse, because when we're talking about a person who's completely new to the game, they don't have any knowledge whatsoever of the game and they make stupid mistakes. But with Vaush, it's more like the person is not only new to Minecraft, but they've been instructed on how to play the game incorrectly by someone, and they won't listen to any evidence that proves that you can't mine a diamond ore without an iron pickaxe. That's basically Vaush in a nutshell. He's worse than a person who doesn't know anything about the game. So, due to my hyper intense and very unhealthy fascination with Vaush and his stupidity, I watch him quite a bit now. I honestly can't stop watching him. And Vaush recently did a video explaining the 1350 meme that is common among our part of the right wing. Now, to give you some context, 1350 is short for despite committing being 13% of the population, black people commit 50% of the crime. And there's of course multiple variations of the meme, but it's used a lot in our part of the right wing. Vaush did a whole response video, did a whole video talking about why he thinks that's the case. Now, I'm not going to respond to that particular video. I want to respond to a particular thing he said in that video that I don't want to say triggered me, but I'm going to be honest, it triggered me. I don't get triggered easily, but this particular thing that Vaush said just pissed me off so much that I just had to make a video on it in order to get it off my chest. So take a listen.
So, to those people, I have two things to say. First of all, stay mad. Still absolutely no evidence of an inherent IQ gap between the races that can't be alleviated through socioeconomic conditions. And with every passing study, the gap seems to be getting closer and closer. Really sorry. No race war today.
This guy literally said that there's no evidence for differences in intelligence between different biological races, or that race is biological, despite claiming to look through all the evidence. Now, I've already made a video about race realism in my response to Hunter Avalon video, but I'm gonna basically make the same freaking video again, but this time directed at Vaush. So here we go. I'm going to prove that biological race does indeed exist, and that there are differences in intelligence, average intelligence, between different races, and these differences are genetic. So yeah, the hereditarian race realist position. Okay, let's get started. In a study, the scientist David Piffer, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, studied 9 different gene variants that are correlated with intelligence. Biologists call them alleles. And yes, Vaush, there are gene variants that are correlated with intelligence. And if you don't believe me, take it up with David Piffer. And he chose these particular gene variants because they've not only been shown to be correlated with intelligence, but they're they're correlated with intelligence in multiple different studies, and they show up frequently in these studies. And he compared them with populations, the frequency of these gene variants in different populations, and the results were what hereditarians and race realists like me or the alternative hypothesis would have predicted. Asians have the highest rate of these alleles, of these gene variants that are correlated with intelligence, and white people have the second highest rate. And then, guess what? Blacks and Hispanics have the lowest amount of frequency of these gene variants that are correlated with intelligence. Exactly what race realists would have predicted. Exactly what race realists would have predicted. So yeah, Vaush, there is evidence for biological differences in intelligence between different races that are explained by heredity. So you can stop pretending to be an environmental determinist now. But wait, there's more! Another study was done in which a computer was given the genetics of different people from different populations and asked to put the genes in different clusters. And guess what happened? The gene clusters that the computers sorted the genes into were very close to the categories of self-identified race by the participants. So yeah, there are genetic differences between the races, and even a computer can figure that out. Oh, by the way, the results of this study have been replicated in this study, which shows that people are more likely to have the same genes when they're similar in terms of like continental origin. And this other study which basically says the same thing. Oh, and if learning that there are certain genes that correlate with intelligence that are present in some populations rather than others, and that population groups are more likely to be genetically linked to each other, wasn't bad enough for Vaush, it's going to get even worse for him. Because guess what? IQ right now is the best. It's the best measurement we have of general intelligence, and guess how heritable IQ is? Around 80%. Oh, wait. I thought intelligence was due to socioeconomic stuff and racism and stuff. Oh, I guess Vaush was wrong then. Oh, by the way, there are also twin studies that show that IQ is around 80% heritable as well, and other studies showing the same thing. Additionally, race differences in IQ scores cannot be the result of lack of educational opportunities, as people like Vaush like to claim, because the data shows, as you're seeing on screen, that even though the IQs of blacks do go up when they receive greater educational opportunities, it doesn't close the black-white IQ cap. The black-white IQ cap. It doesn't even come close to closing the black-white IQ gap. There is one more thing I need to point out in order to prove Vaush incorrect. If it is true that differences in life outcomes are caused by socioeconomic factors rather than genetic factors, then why are poor white kids more likely to go to prison, less likely to go to prison than rich black kids. Okay. See, for people like Vaush, the race and IQ debate is a debate over morals rather than a debate over objective science. For Vaush, he sees the because of the fact that in his mind, anyone who preaches any sort of genetic explanation for race is ultimately preaching something that will lead to genocide. Because he thinks that, he sees his denial of genetics as a moral battle rather than a scientific one. And so he will deny any evidence that's presented to him. That's what this ultimately is about for people like Vaush. It's not about science, it's about morals for him. And I also suspect this is the case with people like Destiny or Hunter Avalone. Okay, thanks for watching. If you agreed with anything that I said, or if you liked this video or agreed with anything that I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Wolf signing out.